We are sticking with our getting to know you segments where we talk about a player and dive a little bit deeper on them. And today's lucky winner is Gotham FC and United States women's national team defender Jenna Nighswonger. Jenna Nighswonger is from Huntington Beach, California, and she played with the U.S. Youth Soccer ODP program growing up. And that's really how she got inundated with everything football. And during her junior year of high school, while she was playing high school ball, she opted to stop playing for her high school team and instead play only for the United States Soccer Development Academy Club. From there, Jenna Nighswonger committed to play college soccer at Florida State University. She played there from 2019 to 2022. Now, Sandra, during Nighswonger's time at FSU, she played in the midfielder. She was an attacking midfielder. She played as an 8, she played as a 10. She scored goals, specifically she is remembered for scoring Olympico goals directly from left-footed corner kicks, including one that was actually featured on SportsCenter during her time in college. So absolute baller, but higher up the pitch. She is a national champion. She won the NCAA championship with FSU in 2021. And in her final season in 2022, she was named the ACC MVP of women's football. Then also during that year, she was named a finalist for the 2022 Herman Trophy, recognizing the nation's best collegiate players. That's the year that Michelle Cooper actually won out of Duke, who now plays for Kansas City Current. But her professional career for Jenna Nighswonger started when she entered the draft for the 2023 NWSL draft, and New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC selected Jenna Nighswonger as the 4th overall pick in the draft. Now, she was drafted as a midfielder. However, once preseason started happening and the season was getting closer, Gotham head coach Juan Carlos Amaros had Nighswonger training as an outside back. And Sandra, lest we not forget, March of 2023, Gotham's first match of the season against Angel City. Jenna Nighswonger is on the bench, but that only lasted about 10 minutes. Unfortunately, defender Ali Krieger gets a little bit of a knock in the opening 10 minutes of this first match of the season, and the rookie, Jenna Nighswonger, called upon to play left back. A different role than anyone had seen her play when you watched her in college. But Nighswonger went on to cement herself in that left back role. She was named Rookie of the Year at the end of the 2023 season. And then during the NWSL postseason, Nighswonger played every single game for Gotham FC, and she helped Gotham lift the NWSL championship trophy on November 11th, 2023. Part of history with that club and helping bring a turnaround and be just a pillar of defense for Gotham. That rickled triple down effect fell into the United States because Nighswonger had long been a part of youth programs for the U.S. U20 team at the 2020 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship. She played U16, U17, U18, and U23 teams at the U.S. level. But due to her play with Gotham in her rookie season in 2023, Jenna Nighswonger was called into her first full women's national team camp November 20th, 2023, and she made her first appearance December 2nd, 2023. It did not take long, Sandra, before Jenna Nighswonger got her first goal. It was February 20th, 2024, when Nighswonger converted a penalty against the DR during the CONCACAF W Gold Cup. It was a penalty in the run of play, the first one. Alex Morgan was also on the pitch at this time, and it was the young Jenna Nighswonger who said, "Nope, I want to step up. I'm taking it," and she finds the back of the net. And most recently, Jenna Nighswonger was selected by Emma Hayes for the 18-player roster for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. Sandra, you have made a lot of mock rosters for the Olympics, and Jenna Nighswonger was always on your Olympic list from the very beginning. Why?
Oh my goodness. First off, I want to preface this by saying I love this segment, Lisa. It's quickly become one of my favorite segments. It's like story time with A3. I love listening to
So
the
good.
rundown of the players that we've chosen. And I'm always just here nodding along like, yes, incredible, great, legendary, iconic. Love it. And you know what? We're doing that with players who are, crack the Olympic roster and are going to Paris, but they're also kind of these next gen players is as well. And I love that we, did one on Jaden Shaw, we had one on Sam Coffey, and now we're doing one on Jenna Nighswonger. And this is just a player I think that has been on both of our radars for quite some time. I mean, when you say the Olympic mock rosters and how she essentially was a lock for me for some time, I even think back to that draft night, like going ahead, like this was a player that folks were anxious to know, like, will she, won't she? Like, is she gonna declare? You know, is she gonna make a decision to maybe take her talents overseas or in another league? Because some players just have it. And by it, I mean Jenna Nighswonger. And I don't know if we should be shocked at this point that she got drafted, went pro, and part of her profile rising as high as it has is the fact that she is such a baller, and her soccer IQ, the ability to understand that, hey, if you're going to get tasked with something like a positional change from your coach, your response is to lean into that and take on that challenge and try to excel in that opportunity. And that has been some of my most favorite things, energy in watching Jenna Nighswonger. The fact that she had such a great collegiate career. I mean, listening to you name those stats in Florida, I mean, Mark Krikorian's FSU, all of these players that he has gotten in and how they went to all these national championships. So it's like surely this player is going to be okay by the time they get to the pros, and that was correct, but not everyone does well with kind of that positional change. So for me, Nighswonger was a lock from the beginning because she also showed us that she could make that transition to the international level. She
Hands down.
didn't look like a player that was intimidated by that big moment. And she's had a lot of them in the very early beginnings of her kind of pro career. It's a big moment to ask a player like, "Hey, I actually see you here. We want a positional change for you. How are you gonna do?"
It's also really hard to go from a player that is so attacking minded and scores goals. Like she was a goal
Yes.
scorer and assist leader at
Yes.
FSU, and to then play defense because some of the magic goes away. I mean, Darian Jenkins talks about this all the time. She's
Yeah.
like, I didn't play defense because I wanted to score goals. It is hard to make that transition. It happens frequently. A
Mhm.
lot of players do it. They go from playing in the front line to playing deeper. But Jenna Nighswonger's ability to control the ball in tight spaces, to find that forward thinking pass, to take on defenders 1v1 with the ball at her feet. Her attacking mindset that has led her up until she was 21, 22 years old is what makes her such a good left back, and I think arguably makes her so much of a lock with Emma Hayes and the way that Hayes wants to play with this quote unquote spiritual back
Yes.
three that the US plays with because they need an outside back, whether that's Emily Fox or Jenna Nighswonger or Casey Kruger. I mean, there's a number of them, but specifically with Jenna Nighswonger, who can step up into the attacking zone. She can pinch centrally and act as another midfielder. She can press into the front line and whip services into the box. She is just so multifaceted in the way that Jenna Nighswonger plays. And I want to ask you, Sandra. Now, Jenna Nighswonger in college, she was part of that COVID class that had an option to do another year. She chose to forego that to start playing professionally. And there was maybe some rumors that Nighswonger would go overseas after her collegiate career and not enter the NWSL draft. Now, obviously, hindsight is 2020. We know that Nighswonger played with Gotham in the left back role, and that opened the door for her to be seen at the US senior level. How would Jenna Nighswonger's path to the US senior national team level look differently if she did play overseas instead of entering the NWSL draft?
I do wonder a little bit about it. It's a fun what if question. I do think it may have been dependent on a club that she went to, because it's funny to think about what we know now versus then, right? Emma Hayes is now the U.S. Women's National Team uh, head coach. So maybe if Neiswanger does make that decision to go overseas and ends up playing perhaps with one of the many elite European clubs out there that also happen to find themselves competing not only in their domestic leagues but in Champions League as well. I do think this is the way. I do think at some point she finds a way on this national team roster. Now, is it as a left back? I'm not
Exactly.
I'm not too sure. It all depends on the coach. I think we saw something similar. It was a different time in Crystal Dunn's career when she went overseas to Chelsea. She was already a definitive player, already in national team camps, a part of that senior national team player pool. But she goes to Chelsea, and Emma Hayes says, "Actually, I think you're better for us here, and that's how we're going to utilize you on the pitch." And she ends up playing as a
Yeah.
wing back position. So I don't know if she goes to Europe and plays lower and gets a look there, but I do think she maybe gets the attention of Emma Hayes even in Europe, and perhaps gets a sniff at the camps here. But listen, shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. I'm so happy that things have played out
Same.
the way that they have now. If you're a young soccer player, Jenna Nighswonger is a player. Whenever I get asked, like, who should I watch right now? That this is actually a player
Watch her.
that I suggest to young players whenever they're like curious about like molding their games after or work ethic or whatever. This is absolutely a player that you want to keep an eye on.
I like that shout a lot. I know this was fun segment for us to do, and a lot of young people watch her. She is a lot of people's favorite player, especially shout out to our podcast producer, Mark Seaman, because he is probably the biggest Jenna Nighswonger fan that I know. I mean, he's
Got to
been
give a shout
since
out.
we started this segment, he's been like Jenna Nighswonger, Jenna Nighswonger,
Yeah.
Jenna
When are we
Nighswonger.
doing Jenna Nighswonger? Yeah, here it is.
So Mark, shout out to you. I know that you rock your Gotham Nighswonger kit as often as you can. I know you're going to be cheering for her at the Paris Olympics, as are a lot of people. Because how can you not cheer for a young superstar like Jenna Nighswonger? Watch her with the United States in that left back role this summer in Paris at the Olympics. She will be a mainstay on this United States Women's National Team for many, many more years to come. This was a fun segment. I loved diving into this one.